In 1787, His Majesty's ship Bounty set sail from England. Its mission seemed harmless enough: journey to the far-off island of Tahiti, collect breadfruit trees, and deliver them to the Caribbean as a cheap food source for enslaved workers. But what began as science would become one of the most infamous naval rebellions in history. At the helm was Lieutenant William Bligh. A skilled navigator and veteran of Captain Cook's voyages, Bligh was ambitious and precise, but also quick-tempered. He did not flog as often as other captains, yet his sharp words and humiliating rebukes stung deeper than the lash. To many of his men, life aboard felt less like service and more like torment. The voyage itself was grueling. The Bounty was a small vessel packed with men, supplies, and delicate breadfruit plants. Tempests battered the ship, food ran scarce, and endless work wore down the crew. Every mistake brought another storm of insults from Bligh. After 10 punishing months at sea, the Bounty finally reached Tahiti. For the weary sailors, it was paradise. Gentle breezes, fertile land, and the generous hospitality of the islanders gave them a taste of freedom. Many formed relationships with Tahitian women, feasted on fresh food, and dreamed of staying forever. Bligh allowed a long stay while the breadfruit plants matured. 5 whole months. But paradise softened discipline. Men slipped into island life, resisting the thought of returning to naval duty. When Bligh tried to restore order, resentment deepened. Among the crew was Fletcher Christian, the ship's master's mate. Intelligent and respected, he had once been close to Bligh, but constant public humiliations shattered their bond. Christian, like many of the men, longed for Tahiti and loathed the thought of more months under Bligh's command. By April 1789, the Bounty finally departed Tahiti, its decks crowded with breadfruit. But beneath the surface, anger smoldered. Sailors whispered in the darkness of the lower decks. Christian himself stood at a breaking point, torn between loyalty and rebellion. And as the sun rose on April 28, 1789, the crew was about to make a choice that would shock the British Empire and echo through history. Dawn, April 28, 1789. Fletcher Christian could wait no longer. With a small group of armed sailors, he stormed into Lieutenant William Bligh's cabin. Bligh, dragged from his bed in shock, demanded to know the cause of such treachery. But there was no time for argument. The mutineers forced him, along with 18 loyal men, into the ship's launch, a tiny open boat on the wide Pacific. The mutiny was complete. Fletcher Christian, once Bligh's friend, was now the reluctant leader of a rebellion that defied the Royal Navy. Bligh's situation seemed hopeless. With little food, no charts, and nearly 3,600 miles between him and safety, survival appeared impossible. Yet his seamanship proved extraordinary. Braving storms, hunger, and hostile encounters, Bligh navigated the open boat across the Pacific to the island of Timor. It was one of the greatest feats of navigation in maritime history. Meanwhile, the mutineers' story took a darker path. Some returned to Tahiti, where they lived under constant fear of capture. Others, led by Christian, sailed deep into the Pacific in search of a safe haven. Eventually, they found Pitcairn Island, remote and hidden. There, they burned the Bounty to the waterline, erasing all trace of the ship. But paradise turned to tragedy. Tensions between the mutineers and the Tahitians they had brought with them exploded in violence. Within a few years, Fletcher Christian was dead, killed under mysterious circumstances. Only a handful of survivors remained, raising children in isolation. Back in England, the story of the Bounty shocked the nation. Bligh returned a hero of survival, though his reputation for cruelty shadowed him. The Royal Navy hunted down the mutineers, capturing some and bringing them to trial. 3 were hanged as an example. Yet the legend of the mutiny lived on. It became a story not just of betrayal, but of freedom, survival, and the clash between authority and human will. The wreck of the Bounty still lies beneath the waters of Pitcairn, a silent reminder of a mission that began with breadfruit and ended with one of the most famous rebellions in history.